Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who figure review. In today's Doctor Who figure review, we'll be taking a look at the History of the Dalek set number 2, the Dalek Invasion of Earth, containing the Saucer Commander Dalek and a Dalek drone figure. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to show you the packaging, do the articulation in detail, and I will do a comparison to the existing Saucer Commander Dalek from the San Diego Comic-Con set, the black and white version and the coloured release. And I'll be comparing the drone Dalek to the sound effects Dalek as well. So quite a lot to cover in this video, so without further ado, let's look at the packaging for this set. So taking a look at the packaging for the History of the Dalek set number 2, the Dalek Invasion of Earth. So again, we have the style guide packaging there with the TARDIS Doctor Who logo there, the limited edition sticker there, the name of the set and when the Daleks come from. So the Dalek Invasion of Earth 1964, 5+ character options. Again, we have a great window box display so you can check for quality control of the figures themselves. On the side we have the style guide TARDIS packaging. Take a look at the back of the figure. So we have the Daleks from the classic Doctor Who adventure, then we have a prototype image and again the style guide packaging, and then we have a biography on the Dalek Invasion of Earth, so we'll have a little read of that, and then again we have a little biography on the Dalek props themselves. Again, really nice little touch, I do enjoy that. Taking a look at the card insert for the set, obviously we've got Destroyed London there and the Dalek spaceship, and obviously you can notice there we've got Daleks with slats on, which is inaccurate to the actual story, but it makes for quite a nice little display piece to display your Dalek figures outside the Dalek spaceship. So here we have the Daleks from the Dalek Invasion of Earth. So I'll just quickly look at the articulation and then we'll go on to the detail for these figures. So taking a look at the articulation, if you own a classic Dalek figure then you basically know what to expect. The dome can do a full 360-degree turn. The eye stalk can go up and down. So the plunger is on a ball joint so it can do a full 360-degree turn, and so is the gun. Because the ball joints are painted silver, I think that's what's made these joints incredibly stiff to move. And of course the Daleks move on wheels. So moving on to the detail for the Daleks, if we quickly look at the Saucer Commander and then we'll do a comparison to the other Saucer Commander Daleks that have been released. So taking a look at the dome, so we've got the nice little dome lights there. We've got a slight sort of frosted effect to them, which is rather cool. The eye stalk is actually wrong. There should be some silver paint there, and then the rest should be black. The Saucer Pilot Dalek and the black and white Saucer Commander Dalek did have the correct eye stalk actually, but the actual, coloured release, the San Diego version, never had it, and obviously the B&M one just has a completely black eye stalk, which I don't know whether they've done that simply because of to make it look different to the original San Diego Comic-Con one, or just because they just forgot really, but it's all fine. Obviously we've got the rings around the eye stalk painted, which is all very cool. The Saucer Commander Dalek features one of the sort of new features the B&M Daleks are going for, is the sort of smaller pupil in the eye, to sort of represent the sort of telescopic lens of the Daleks, because obviously the Daleks' sort of eyes do adjust within the 60s era. I feel like they've done that to make it seem more of a variant compared to the San Diego Comic-Con version, so people like me who have the original can double dip, and obviously it doesn't lose the value of the original one, so it doesn't lose the sort of exclusiveness, and it doesn't feel like a straight up re-release. So I really do admire character options for slightly tweaking that so it does seem more of a variant compared to the original. So we move down to the neck section. We've got the nice sort of grating effect, the mesh look around the neck bin area, which is done rather well. Moving to the midsection now, we've got the sort of updated silver paint app to make it seem more metallic and very reflective, which really does pop alongside the sort of midsection, especially on the sort of black paint app, so it does make it stand out very well. Again, the ball joints have been painted silver, much like the Dead Planet Daleks, and I feel like that's what's made the joints incredibly stiff, because obviously that's what's catching on the sort of gun, on the sort of appendages section there, which is done very well. Again, we've got the classic plunger detail there with sort of a plunger slightly extended, and again we've got the traditional sort of 60s gun there with all the sort of rivets and the sort of sections of the discs there, which is done rather well. Moving to the back, we have the solar dish, which has been sort of rectified. Now it's been sort of given a sort of a gloss grey colour instead of this sort of shiny look, which I believe is a lot more accurate to the actual story itself. And then moving down to the skirt section, again we've got these sort of more darker sort of hemispheres, which really do pop alongside the sort of. Taking a look at the sort of fender section now, as you can see there's been a slight sort of weathering effect to give it that sort of worn and battered look, like it's been roaming around the deserted streets and the ruins of London. and obviously it's a nice little touch for this, because if you do own the Saucer Commander Dalek, it might sort of make you sort of double dip like I have, to get this slight variant, and I feel like it does make it seem very cool with a slight sort of battered look to it, which I really do like. So let's do the comparison to the other Saucer Commander Daleks. So here we have the Saucer Commander lineup. So we've got the Dalek Collector Set number 2 version, which is basically marketed as the Saucer Pilot, but obviously back when they were filming the Dalek Invasion of Earth, they didn't finish painting the Dalek completely black, so they just rolled it out as it was, and by next week it was, you know, the Supreme, the Saucer Commander Dalek we all know. Then we've got the black and white version, then the San Diego Comic-Con coloured version, then the new B&M one. So the Dalek itself should have this eye stalk. It should have a slight bit of silver to it. So if we compare the San Diego Comic-Con one and the B&M one, so one of the main differences is obviously the eye. As you can see, it's got more of a glossy finish around it, and obviously it doesn't have the smaller pupil. And the side, as you can see, this has a completely silver eye and a lot more darker blue rings around it, whereas this has a lighter blue finish to the eye. So comparing the midsection, as you can see, the silver band is a lot more vibrant and more metallic finish to it compared to the San Diego Comic-Con Exclusive. The ball joints are now painted silver on the B&M version, as you can see, and obviously the plunger has more of a gloss finish to the original San Diego Comic-Con one. Looking at the back now, the solar discs are different. As you can see, we've got the more vibrant silver, and I believe that this one's more accurate to the story. And as you can see, the different colour in the hemispheres, the one on the B&M one, the hemispheres are a lot darker, more sort of accustomed to the one seen on the Daleks Master Plan Supreme. Taking a look at the skirt section now, as you can see, we have the slight weathered one on the new B&M version. So those are practically the differences compared to the San Diego Comic-Con one and the B&M one. So taking a look at the detail for the Dalek drone, very much the same detail, but this Dalek has the updated paint apps, much like the Dead Planet Dalek, giving that more metallic silver finish. So taking a look at the dome, we have the nice sort of reflective silver there, and again the same sort of little dome lights there. And the eye stalk, which is done rather well with sort of the silver section, then the black section there, and this little lighter blue, and then of course the silver ball around the eye. And again, mine has a bit more sloppy paint app, which is a little bit of a shame. The same sort of grating detail there on the neck bin section, which is done rather well. Again, we have the nice sort of silver bands going along there, which really do pop alongside the sort of more dull grey look. And again, we have the same sort of dish detail as the Saucer Commander Dalek there, and again the same detail for the gun and of course the plunger, and again very much the same sort of detailing on the skirt section. Very good paint apps on this, and again we have the more weathered skirt section, which is I guess more prominent on the drone Dalek compared to the Supreme one, but again it varies from set to set. You know, no weathering is exactly the same for each set, so it is very much varied if you have more of a weathered skirt section. But yeah, that is very much the detail, very much the same as the Supreme Dalek. So comparing the sound effects drone released back in 2012, as you can see, the new B&M one has a lot more of a metallic finish, that more shiny silver, which really does pop alongside the figure, especially on the midsection compared to the drone. But as you can see, the hemispheres are a lot darker on the new B&M one compared to the original. We have very much the same sort of detailing for the eye stalk, as you can see. We have the sort of more silver section painted on the eye stalk instead of this one's just completely black there, which is rather interesting. And then if we move down to the back, again we have much more of a sort of darker, sort of glossier solar dish compared to the sort of lighter, more matte finish solar dish there, as you can see. Moving to the skirt section, this has quite a glossy skirt section and seems quite like a solid piece compared to the B&M one. You can see this one has sort of a moulded piece there in that section, whereas this does seem like a separate piece. The base does seem like a separate piece compared to the sound effects one. You can see you've got a sort of little section there, which does look rather interesting. And as you can see the more weathered finish, because this one has more of a glossy base finish to it. And it's great to have two of these. I feel like that's the main reason why I picked up this set, is for another drone Dalek, because it's great to have two of these. And it does look fantastic when you put the Saucer Commander Dalek there and you've got a little army there. It does look wonderful. So what are my concluding thoughts on the history of the Dalek set number 2, the Dalek Invasion of Earth set? Well, I've kind of got two verdicts for this, because if you didn't have the original Saucer Commander Dalek and you didn't have a drone Dalek, then this is definitely a must. But if you're like me and you have the original Source Commander Dalek, then I can see this one being an easy pass. Obviously, they've slightly tweaked it to make it more of a variant. If you're like me and has to get every little variant of a figure, then you're definitely going to want to get this, because obviously they have slightly tweaked it. But if you do own the original Source Commander Dalek and Drone Dalek, then I can see this one being an easy pass. But like I said, if you don't own any of these, then it's definitely worth, picking up. Because for me personally, I feel like this is the weakest set of the 6 B&M sets released from this wave. That's partly down to because I have the original figures, but they have slightly tweaked them to make me go, you know what, they are very good. The updated silver paint up on the Drone Dalek's fantastic, and obviously the main reason why I got this set was for another Drone Dalek to have a little bit of a Dalek Invasion of Earth army. The Source Commander Dalek's nice with these sort of updated paint apps. The silver, like I said, really does stand out against the sort of black and blue paint apps. It does look rather wonderful. But like I said, it does feel like the weaker set for me personally, because I do own the original one. I feel like this one doesn't really have much of an army build. This one I don't feel like you can army build as much, because you'll be stuck with, obviously, a spare Source Commander Dalek. But yeah, so overall I do recommend this set for people who don't have these. If you're like me and you like to get a variant of figures, then do pick this one up. But if you own the original figures, I can definitely see this one being a bit of a pass. But overall, I do like this one. I do like this set. It's definitely the weakest of the B&M sets for me from this wave of figures. But like I said, that's more down to having the original figures. So yes, thank you very much for watching this figure review. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next review, whatever that will be. So thank you very much, and goodbye.